I'm just putting it out there that these chainmail earrings are now my favorite thing ever. Hey y'all, my name is Nat. I hope you're having a terrific day today, and for this video we are going to be doing my November TBR. Before we get into anything bookish, however, make sure to hit like and subscribe down below, as well as tell me in the comments, are you partaking in nonfiction November? So alright, shockingly, this is actually going to be probably the most laid back TBR I've had in quite a while. I don't know how, because I had such plans for nonfiction November, but after all of the reading I've done for like the last 3 months, I really just wanted to kind of try and calm it down a little bit. I don't want to overwork myself and stress myself out before I go into my reread month. I also don't want to put myself into a slump before I go into my reread month. So with that, we are going to start easy with the Nonfiction November Readathon. This is hosted every year by a book olive, and I'll put a link to her information in the description down below if you're interested. As usual, there are 4 prompts with different words that you can try to utilize, but in reality, the main focus is just reading more nonfiction than you normally do. I usually average about 1 a month, so of course I am going to shoot for all 4 prompts. From the start, I did know that I was going to try and prioritize audiobooks for these, specifically with memoirs of comedians, actors that I really appreciate, and of course, because of that, right out of the gate, the first book I had to put on this list is I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. I recently got this from my friend Molly because she actually ordered 2 copies and was kind enough to send me her second. I've heard nothing but glowing reviews for this book, so I'm very excited to finally pick it up myself. This is going to be completing the prompt of secret because Jeanette's complicated relationship with her mother, I imagine, was a bit of a secret. But as I said, I'm very excited to get into this one. Maybe excited's not the best word to use here, seeing as how this has some pretty serious topics. But as I said, I've literally heard only 4-star and higher reviews of this book. The other books I am looking at is first, You Can't Be Serious by Kal Penn. So I have always known Kal Penn as a comedian, but recently I actually found out that he was apparently the associate director at the White House Office of Public Liaison. Didn't know that. Very fascinating change in careers there. And given that job, I had to go with this one for the choice of record, kind of using it as a play on or off the record because, you know, public liaison. See what I did there? Also going to be listening to the audiobook of this one. Also know Cal reads it himself, and I am very excited for it. The only book on this list that does not fall into a celebrity's memoir is this one, Black Nerd Problems by Omar Holman and William Evans. This is a collection of essays by these 2 men, which I believe is looking at different pieces of pop culture and media and their responses to it from the lens of 2 men who are black nerds. On one hand, it sounds like it's going to be really entertaining, but on the other hand, I also think it's going to be pretty thought-provoking. This one I am choosing for the prompt of element because nerdy stuff is definitely in my element, but obviously with this sort of a look, it definitely is a little out of my element, so kind of leaning onto both sides of that. Finally, the last book I'm going to be reading for this readathon is We Were Dreamers by Simu Liu. This is fulfilling the prompt of border because this story is discussing his experience as an immigrant. I also just really appreciate him as an actor. I think he is hilarious. He seems like a really cool human being. I have heard amazing things about this book from the people who have read it, and I'm actually going to be buddy reading this with Kristen at Kristen Craves Books. I'll put a link to her in the description down below. Definitely go give her a follow. Now, apart from Nonfiction November, I am also planning to partake in the Final Book Support Group's week-long readathon that is running, I believe, the week of American Thanksgiving, so that kind of works out very well for me. Honestly, I'm not 100% sure on what books I'm going to be reading for this. It's kind of just going to be a mood read for me. I have a few possibilities. First, and a very strong contender, is going to be A Very Merry Bromance by Lyssa Kay Adams. This is the newest book in the Bromance Book Club series, which I did not expect. I thought we were done with that series, but no, apparently there's going to be a 5th. And even though my enjoyment of the series has been going down as it's progressed, I'm still going to read it because I love this group of friends as a whole. The Bromance Book Club is so hilarious. This one, I believe, is following, I don't remember his name, but I'm pretty sure he is a country music star that is fairly new to the group. That's all I really got for you. I would also love to pick up the next book in the Kingdom of Souls trilogy, which is Reaper of Souls by Rena Barron. Obviously, this is going to be continuing off of where the first book ended, and wow, like that final reveal though, I mean, I kind of saw it coming, but at the same time, it didn't make it any less jaw-dropping. I am so excited to see where that goes. Holy crap, we are definitely diving into some heavier fantasy elements that I am all over it. I'm also considering picking up the next 2 volumes of Nomen Omen by Marco Bucci, which I read the first one for my Halloween readathon vlog, link over here. I really enjoyed it, a Celtic folklore but in a urban fantasy setting, and I'm all over it. Of course, Winston Brothers is a strong possibility. I crank through those audiobooks like no tomorrow. It is so easy for me to blast through those in a day. I'm on to the 6th book, which is Beard With Me, and this one I believe is the first book looking at Billy and Claire's relationship from the past, and I'm very excited for it. Also strongly leaning towards picking up What If You and Me by Ronnie Lauren. This is the next in her Say Everything romance series. I know this one is following Andy, who we met in the first book, and she is a horror author struggling with anxiety, and I believe she falls in love with her very handsome ex-fireman neighbor. Pretty sure. My friend Allie recently read this one and said it was definitely very good, so I'm very excited to continue it. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. Apart from readathons, I also am planning to partake in 2 book clubs this month. One of them is the book club I do with a few friends of mine, and this month's pick was mine, so I decided to go with Kiss Her Once for Me by Alison Cochrane. This is a sapphic romance, and I think it's like enemies to lovers fake dating or engagement, something like that, but also with a holiday setting. I've heard lots of love for Alison Cochrane's first book, The Charm Offensive. However, it has the setting of a reality TV show, and that's just not my bag, so I was very excited when I heard she was coming out with a new romance book. I have heard positive things from the people I've seen review it, but it comes out November 1st. So along with my personal book club, I'm also going to be reading She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan, which is for the Story Continued book club. All information for that in the description down below. This was pitched as a Mulan meets Song of Achilles retelling, but I've since heard to kind of just ignore that. I did start this in November last year. And I never finished it, so here's me hoping to try again. I was intrigued by it. We are following a woman who goes to a fortune teller with her brother when they were children. It is foretold that her brother will find greatness while she is supposed to become nothing. Her brother actually ends up dying, and she decides to take his place. I was enjoying it when I first read it, but it just wasn't hooking me in. I'm hoping this time around I will have a better chance. Finally, the last book that I need to get read this month is Just Haven't Met You Yet by Sophie Cousins. I am going to be annotating this for my friend Kat. We talked about that in our book shopping vlog forever ago. I'll put a link to that in the cards. This is going to be her Christmas present. It's not a big deal that I'm talking about it on my channel. She told me she wanted this book. Alright y'all, so that is it for today. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me in the description down below. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!